Welcome to Mongolia, my soul spot. I've come here twice before, once on the Trans-Siberian Railway, then to work at a horse trekking camp. Last summer, I came back a third time to trek in the wilderness. Just me and my 2 horses, 2 weeks in the Mongolian wild. It might sound crazy. My family and friends thought it was. But it was an idea that had been brewing in me for years, and finally, I felt it was the right time to give it a try. I had just been through a difficult breakup. I felt defeated by all the pressure I was feeling from social media. I was exhausted. Just felt like I needed to get away from everything for a little while. Do something that I had always dreamt of. That's where horses entered the scene. I feel a kind of serenity when I'm around them. To a horse, it doesn't matter if your heart is broken or your spirit spent. It will give you a piece of its own soul. Horses, for me, are healing. And that's what I was hoping to find out there in the wild. But of course, when a dream becomes a reality, it can bring you crashing down to earth.
It's finally hitting me. It's hitting me that my GPS device is not working, that I can't log into my GPS account to sync my maps. It's hitting me that is the most fundamental part of my trek. It's hitting me that I probably don't have enough food to last me for 2 weeks. And I feel like crying.
I needed help to get ready. Enter Boyna. Boyna is a Mongolian horseman. He's probably the best rider I've ever met. And he offered to teach me some of the tips and tricks of Mongolian horsemen. That included fixing saddles, which I had a feeling might come in handy on my trek.
Same as riding?
Yeah,
no,
same.
This is my first time riding and practicing with 2 horses. So I've got this guy here on one lead, and this guy is moving already. This is not going to be easy, something tells me. So this is what riding with 2 horses looks like. Yeah, it is just as tricky as it looks. Thanks to Boyna's help, I finally plucked up the courage to go ahead with my plan. Alright, I guess most of everything is packed. Just a couple of tiny things remaining, like cables and wires and chargers. But I think I'm ready to go. I should say that. I'm nowhere near ready to go, actually. I'm really not. But I think the best thing to do is just go for it now. I mean, I'm done. I'm packed. I've got everything I need. Why am I scared? I think this is probably normal. So yeah, I've just gotta go now. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm just moving all my stuff into the truck. Together with the horses, we're gonna be driving all the way to the Untitled National Park, which is one of the national parks here. Probably take us about 2 hours, and that will be the starting point. It's getting kind of late. It's already 2 p.m. By the time we get there, it'll be 4. By the time we get off the truck, it'll be like 5. So I don't know how far realistically I will go today. But the point is, I am packed and we are ready to go. Bye! See you in 2 weeks! Thanks! Hopefully! Hopefully I can do it. We can do it, right? Alright, we're going in. Bye, Boyna! Bye! Ganbatar, my driver, advised me not to go ahead with the trek. He said I might encounter some bad people on the way.
He said it wasn't good for a girl to do it alone. But my mind was already made up.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to Untitled, which is the place where I'm meant to be starting my trek, and suddenly there's rain from beautiful blue skies and an amazing sunny day. We've got a rainy day. That's the start of my trek.
I may have put on a brave face, but really I was petrified.
Just arrived at the final stop. The horses are fine, although a bit wet because it has been raining quite a bit. So now I just need to make sure that they get off the truck safely. I need to get them all set up and geared up, and then I guess we go. And the first obstacle that I see on our way is that river over there, which we will have to cross. This is an interesting start.
It's no.
Oh, yes! Yes! Good boy! Baiklah. Bye! And from now on, I'm all alone. Well, not quite alone, because I've got these two guys to keep me company.
I got lucky. A local horseman helped me cross the river safely. I rode for a little while on the other side of the river, but soon realized that sunset was already upon me.
So I didn't manage to get very far. It's quickly getting dark. I got here pretty late, but yeah, I decided to just camp out in the town or just on the edge of the town, the first town. And I guess I was in luck because I got invited to a gur, and here are some buz, which are the Mongolian dumplings. Oh wow! Wow, this is a beautiful family gur. Wow, I just asked if I could camp here and they invited me in for some dumplings. How lovely.
I hadn't expected to be meeting many people along the way, but that very first evening, my hosts welcomed me to their home and made me fresh, salty milk tea the traditional way. Here's a Mongolian soup recipe. Take some dumplings, pour salty milk tea over them, and you're done.
Buz with tsa, which is tea, milk tea.
These rivers and streams were about to become my guides. I knew that I couldn't lose sight of them throughout my trek. I needed to have access to fresh water every day, for myself and for my horses. The rivers could become my nemesis if I had to cross them, but they were also essential to our survival. I was setting off beyond this settlement, beyond any permanent human habitation. Once you reach the end of this track, it's just forests and hills, all the way north to Siberia and the Arctic.
Okay, it's been about 3 hours of riding. The boys are doing well. They're being a bit stubborn from time to time, especially the pack horse. Just tends to stop and rip the reins out of my hand. But otherwise, it's pretty amazing. It's beautiful out here.
My plan was to set off from the entrance to the park and trek northwards for several days until the Hagen Ha Nor, the Black Lake. Once I reached the lake, I would turn around and head all the way back. Out here in the wild, the days began to grow longer and more majestic.
I've been traveling for about 3.5 hours and decided to stop for a quick lunch break. This is my lunch. It's dark rye bread with tuna and cherry tomatoes. It's actually pretty fancy if you think about it. The horses are getting some rest, they're grazing. So far so good. It's been pretty smooth, apart from the pack horse suddenly stopping the entire time and pulling me along, apart from my road horse freaking out a couple of times because he saw a bird and almost throwing me off. Yeah, apart from that, it's all good.
At that point, I was just hoping that the horses spooking so easily wasn't a sign of things to come.
You know, I haven't met a single soul today. It's just been me and the horses. And nobody else. Not a single soul. Yep, places like that still exist in this world.
Imagine being so deeply alone, so far away, that all your fears, all your worries, all your insecurities dissolve into thin air. That's freedom. big storm just down that way above the lake where I was originally meant to be headed. And the horses are freaking out a little bit because of the thunderstorm, and I mean, the clouds are very dark. I don't particularly want to get stuck. There we go, thunder again. Yeah, I don't want to get stuck in a storm or in rain, or, you know, the entire ground becomes really boggy when there's heavy rain. So I think it's time now to head back. This wasn't part of the plan. The plan was to keep going, but I just don't think I can risk it alone. So I'll turn back and I'll figure out a different route somewhere else, I guess. It's part of the journey. Just to adjust and be flexible and adapt. Right? Well, I think at least they're happy. Powering ahead. And their hooves get really, really stuck in this stuff. It's moments like this where you have to have a lot of confidence in your horse. And these guys are just so sure-footed and they're so confident across this terrain. Unbelievable. I wasn't having the best of days. A couple of hours later, my saddle broke. I fixed it. All was good again, for a short while anyway. My horses were nameless. Mongolians are some of the world's most skilled riders, but they don't give names to their horses. Some say it's to protect the horses from evil spirits, and according to others, it's because a horse's soul should not be bound to the earth by an earthly name. The riding horse got spooked by the pack horse's saddle, and it just reared and backed, and the saddle slipped, and I slipped with it, and I fell on the ground, and it was a rocky patch. So that's how I broke my eyebrow. And I feel like I have a concussion this time, which is probably not something you want to be dealing with on your own. As much as it really pains me to say this, I think this is it. I think I have to stop because this is the second time I've fallen, and but it does feel a bit shitty, like giving up. It is what it is.
right after I got back to the closest settlement, a local family welcomed me into their camp and I got to spend the night with them. The next morning, I called up my local friends who sent in a horse truck to pick me up pretty much the next day. After that, I just took some days to recover, and thankfully I had no lasting injuries, nothing like that apart from headaches. This is not an experience I would recommend to anybody, not at all. Now, keep in mind that I've been riding since I was a child. I've been to Mongolia before. I've done group treks in Mongolia before. So it wasn't exactly new, yet the experience was revolutionary in my life. It took me a year to just even sit down and edit the video and decide whether I wanted to share it with the big public world of YouTube, and here it is. I guess I went out there seeking solitude and a test of sorts, and what I found was a lot of solitude. A lot of personal challenges, a lot of time alone where it's just you and your fears and the best and the worst of you. It was mentally, emotionally, and physically the most challenging thing I'd ever done. Every single night I went to bed emotionally and mentally drained, even though I had no distractions. But I guess that was one of the biggest challenges, is that when you're alone like that, there are no distractions, nothing to take your mind away from your thoughts and your feelings. And physically, I was so tired every single day that I just came crashing down every night, falling asleep at 8 o'clock, barely enough energy to even give in to my fears, which I guess helped because I felt a lot of fear on my own, out there in the wild. The main thing that the trek did to me was it showed me how insignificant my ego was. In the grand scheme of things, none of this means much, and none of this is particularly significant. And I think that's something that definitely crushed me, but in the long run, elevated me and turned me into a better person. Immediately after the trek, I remember telling myself that I would never do it again. Never. That I would never go on a solo horse trek ever again. I promised myself that. But I'm already planning the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. This was a really personal journey for me and a super personal video, so please be kind, please be understanding, and yeah, thanks for watching. I guess I'll see you in the next one.